What's up YouTube? Welcome back to another video. Today we're gonna be rebuilding the engine. I already did it, I just forgot to record the intro, so here we are. This is what we're gonna be doing. Stick around for it. Quick little disclaimer, I'm not a professional. I know I'm awesome, but I'm not a professional in this. And this video is dedicated to be like a entertaining video. So if you want an educational video, I'll go ahead and link the two videos that I watched to help me build this. Those are specific for this engine. So if you want something that's more educational, that'll be down below. This is purely for entertainment purposes, so you guys can get a good laugh or giggle or just waste more time on the internet. So I guess the first step would be to remove the old bearings. I pretty much kept everything where it was. If I could put the bolts back, I did, to kind of give me a better idea of where things go without me having to remember. This one doesn't want to come out, fuck that one. And I got the bearing out. It was a little stuck on there. Now I'm gonna go ahead and apply some assembly lube on here, and then put the new bearings on, and then crankshaft, and then yeah, we'll see. Now, as far as the new bearings, we got the thrust bearing here on which way they go. The bottom one that goes on the block is gonna have a little hole here that coincides with the hole that's here to allow oil to come through and lubricate it. Anything past that, I don't really know. I'm not even quite sure where we're supposed to put the assembly oil, but I'm just gonna kind of put it everywhere. When this thing finally starts up, it might shoot out a little bit of smoke, but I feel like a little bit of smoke from the assembly lube is better than not. All right, the fun stuff now. Put the top doohickeys on. This is an old bearing. And then we'll put some of the stuff on like that. They're also numbered. This one's number 4. It's also the biggest one, so I know it goes back here. And there's an arrow with the direction it's supposed to point. Now, I probably could have done a better job of cleaning this, but there's gonna be a lot of corners cut with this engine. Oh, I forgot to lube that one. Oops. If I can do a certain portion of it as best to my ability, I'm going to. But also, I don't really care that much. As long as it starts and lasts for maybe 50 miles, I'm happy with it. This is my torque wrench. It's a good old Cobalt. It's electric. I don't really like these. I prefer the manual ones, because this just beeps at me like it's mad. And it doesn't feel right, because you don't get the click, you know what I'm saying? Like the little clunk that says you're good to go. So yeah, the torque sequence is a good old, you know, the regular thing. I feel like even if you don't know the torque sequence, as long as you follow that rule, it's pretty hard to mess up. Fun fact while I do this is that these are not torque to yield. You can actually reuse them. I didn't know that until after I bought new ones, but so I might as well use them. Now it should be able to still spin freely. No kinks, nothing. Yeah, it doesn't seem like anything's clunking. So, I'm gonna call that a victory. So for the next part here, we got our piston rings, so we installing our pistons. Right here, I went ahead and took off the stock piston rings that came on this piston. You got your top one, it's kind of thin. And you've got your second one, which is a little bit thicker. You've got a super thin one right here, right? And you've got a spacer, bing bing, hard to see, I know. And you got a super thin one again that goes below the spacer. If you're installing your stock rings back into their replacement stock ones, there are certain steps or spacing that you have to have. I'm installing these aftermarket ones. And they've got their own little set of instructions with a guide on how to space them. So it'll differ depending on what you're gonna use. These also make it kind of easy because this one's labeled top 1, this one's labeled 2nd, and these are labeled 3rd. So it's kind of like, I've never done this before, but I'm feeling pretty confident now that they've labeled it out for me and makes it pretty easy. So Kev came through, we got this little thing here. It's our ring compressor. So we're gonna go ahead, I already put one in, this one. So we're gonna go ahead and put one in. This was 2, so 1. back through and tighten and torque all these bolts down to spec. And we're gonna throw the heads on, and then we're making some real progress. So let's find the torque wrench. Took a small break from working on this engine. It's been a while since I've touched it. We had to install the nice little insulation here. If you haven't seen that video, go ahead and watch it. Link will be in the description or in the card up there. But that's good that we took a break from here because I realized I messed something up when I put these timing components on. We're not top dead center on cylinder one. I need to take that off, rotate the crank, and then put it back on. And then I've got the rest of the timing components here that need to go on. The goal is to have all of that on and have the heads put on by the end of today. That's the goal. I don't think it'll be too hard. So now I've got this all fixed up. I gotta put the correct gear with the correct chain, with the correct cassette. I think this one goes up front. I just don't really remember which gear goes there. So it'll be kind of a trial and error thing. So this engine had a lot of issues to begin with, and this is a huge issue that it had that I didn't even know it had. This is the timing guide for one of the timing chains. It's in 2 pieces. This is what it's supposed to look like. So actually it's a pretty good thing that we were tearing apart this engine, but yeah, I didn't even know that this was an issue until I tore it apart. Today we're making big wins. I just have to figure out where this goes. What if these head gaskets didn't go to this car? That would be unfortunate. Oh, this one obviously goes to the other side. Big zoinks. Let me flip it. Oh, there we go. You just gotta flip it. You just gotta flip it upside down. I'm not wrong. The gaskets are wrong. Oh, dude, that shit. Perfect, fits perfectly. I don't know what idiot designed that, because I wasn't putting it on wrong at all. No siree, Bob. One small step for man, one shit. Look at that, that's called progress. That's called progress. So fast forward a few days, I went ahead and I bought the timing tool. I found it on Amazon for about 70 bucks, and I figured it was worth getting the tool so that I could make sure the timing was perfect. First impressions, this box is freaking huge. I've never had a box this big. When I opened it the first time, everything was just kind of thrown around. Like, I'm pretty sure something's supposed to go here. Oh yeah, this. The things are just so bad. But it looks like it'll do the job. It looks like it's what I needed. We'll go ahead and get this thing in time. And that is the last thing that we need, just to tighten up the cam bolts here. That's what that's for. And then we'll put on all the accessories and we're done. This close. This engine was taken out over 2 years ago and it's finally getting put back together. Hopefully it'll run. That's the goal. The engine is finally in time. The driver's side here took a lot longer than the passenger side. I just wanted to be difficult, especially with this, the hydraulic tensioner not lining up with the oil passageways. The next thing to do is we just have to put everything else back together, such as like the water pump, the oil pump, all of the small things such as the valve covers and this, that, and the other. Of course, the oil pan as well. But once all that's put together, this engine is ready to meet its transmission and eventually go back in the car. And we'll even see if all this work was for naught and whether she'll start. That's the part I'm a little worried about, actually very worried about, but I think it'll be okay. I think we'll at least get her to start. She might sound terrible, but that's okay. That's what learning's for, right? Would you look at that? Would you look at that? Would you look at that? She's finally back together. This has been two years since it came out of the car, and it's finally back together. She's finally gonna go back in the car, but that's for next video. So if you wanna watch that video, go ahead and check it out. It'll be out sometime. Check it out. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure to leave a like, subscribe, comment if you want to, subscribe, something, do something. Let me know what you want to see next. This engine is probably not gonna stay in the car very long, so if you guys have ideas of what you want to see put in the car, let me know down below, and we'll see what my bank account looks like, and we'll see where we can go from there. Hey guys, appreciate it watching. See you next time. Deuces.